Okay, so today we continue with our Kitzur class. Today's class number 15. And we start with Sefer Chaim, Loshen Hara, Laws of Derogatory Speech. That's a big subject, and today's title is Common Knowledge. A derogatory statement is considered Loshen Hara, even when information is common knowledge. For as stated above, to speak negatively of one's fellow is shameful in itself. So it doesn't matter, everybody knows it's all around the news. Like local news, global news doesn't make any difference. So there is no permission for us to repeat whatever it says. Okay. Negative information about Jews appearing in a newspaper may not be repeated. Newspapers often publish articles based on hearsay. So meaning it's not true, like what do they call it, like fake news, right? And thus, one is not even permitted to believe such information. If the newspaper is the only source, even after he has verified the information, he may nevertheless not repeat it. So even everything is true, as we said many times. So Lashon Hara is something that is true, right? So if it's not true, it's a different category, Motzi Shemra. So it's not allowed to repeat it, even if everybody knows. Unless, as we said before, it is for constructive purpose. Okay. And it was verified, and the example would be like if you know that some store is not kosher, they sell not kosher meat, for example, right? So everybody thought that it's kosher, but now you found out and somebody told you that it's not kosher. Okay, so in this case, it would be a mitzvah to let everybody know, and you verify this rabbi, and that rabbi will verify with another rabbi. So basically, for example, maybe they said that they kashrut supervision, but they did not, or it expired like some time ago. So sometimes it's happened. Like I would go to a website and buy some food, for example, and they would provide a kashrut certificate, and then you say that it says that it expires 5 years ago, right? So yeah. Maybe they did not update. Maybe they did. Maybe it just expired. So you have to do your things. You have to verify. Okay. So all right. So we're on Siman number 9, and we continue the laws of Tzitzis and see number 1. Let me read from the beginning without commentary. Just read, so we have continuation. It says, "How great is a commandment of Tzitzis! There is the reward for observance, and punishment for neglect are very great." Okay, this is evident from the Torah. For the Torah equates this commandment and also connects it to all the commandments of the Torah combined, as we explained yesterday. As it says in Bamidbar 15:39, "And you shall see it," the Tzitzis, "and you shall remember all of the commandments of HaShem and perform them." And we discussed it yesterday. Not yesterday, the last time. Seeing that the Tzitzis reminds one of the commandments, because the numerical value of the word Tzitzis alludes to 613 commandments as follows. The letters of the Tzitzis have numerical value of 600, and adds to that 8 strings that hang down from the knot each tassel. Add to the 8 strings that hang down from the knot of each tassel. I mean, it's Tzitzis, and 5 knots tied each tassel. Each tzitzis, so it's basically 600 plus 8 plus 5, which is 613. This adds up to 613, the total number of commandments in the Torah. Because the tzitzis are worn to remind a person of all of the commandments, therefore, every man must take care to have this Tallis katan. So this, we were explaining small Tallis, that he should wear on the entire day. The following is description of the ideal feature of the Tallis. It should be made of the wool of sheep. It should be white and and as large as required measurement. There is a 3/4 of the amma long. Let me explain. And the half of the amma wide. Some say that it must be amma long and amma wide, which is like minimum. It's not like for a normal person today. Like average height person, it would be small. Those who take who make the Tallis katan sewn on the sides, so we said must be careful that he should open on each side by discernible majority of the length of the garment. Right? We said that, and these and the sides may not even be closed with hooks. So basically, it should be completely open. Right? That's the story. Okay, that's where we left off. So I'll continue. In addition, every person should take care to have a Tallis gadol with tzitzis, in which to wrap himself during the morning prayer. So I'm just for your information, I'm on page 68, right? So commentary number 15. Literally, the large cloak or garment. This referred generally simply by Tallis. So basically, when we say Tallis, everybody think of this one, the big one. Okay, continue. One should endeavor to beautify the mitzvah of having beautiful tzitzis. Tallis, I'm sorry, beautiful tallis. Okay, that's we also spoke about a little last time. Indeed, this is also true with regard to all of the commandments. Commentary, such as sukkah, lulav, shofar, and Sefer Torah, meaning that it has to be beautiful. Person cannot be cheap. It's all other things. You can be a little cheap, but not with the mitzvahs. One must fulfill them in the most beautiful way possible. For it is written in the Torah, Shmos 15:2, "This is my God, and I will beautify him." And we interpret this homiletically in Shabbos 133b to mean, beautiful yourself before him, meaning HaShem, in the fulfillment of all of the commandments. And when you stand in front of the HaShem, it should be the best quality that you can afford. So of course, if a person is poor and he does not have money, so nobody expects him to spend a lot of money on these mitzvahs because simply he needs to feed his family. That's understandable. But if person normal means, so he expected to spend a little more. Though the enhanced performance of the commandment, through the enhanced performance of the commandments, one makes himself beautiful before HaShem. So, but just another point, I think we living here in New York, so it's much easier than living, I don't know, somewhere in other places in the world, to buy beautiful, like high quality things for a normal amount of money, and not be overcharged like 2 times or whatever. Okay, so that's advantage. One should be careful to buy tzitzis from a trustworthy person, so he can be sure that they are prepared with regard to the spinning and twisting of the thread explicitly for the sake of tzitzis, and in accordance with the laws of making tzitzis. The tzitzis must also be proper length. So first of all, we see that, as we said last time we spoke about a little, that the person has to have intention, right? When he may make these strings, that I'm going to make, so we're going to make a tzitzis out of it. So the person, in other words, the person cannot just buy string from the store and use it as a tzitzis, even though, of course, you would not tell the difference. And at least I would not be able to tell the difference. But tzitzis from the store, from this wool string that can be used, I don't know, for many things. So it's not kosher for our tzitzis. Okay, that's why they say Kitzur tell us that we have to be careful. Okay, so first commentary with regard to the spinning, number 17. Spinning is the proper process of twisting the fibers, the wool, and produce a thread. Okay, that's so basically it was pure wool, and they making thread and twisting. So it was spinning, now twisting. 18. After spinning, so after you have a thread, each thread is doubled over, then twisted together. So meaning to make it stronger and thicker. So and twisting of the thread explicitly for the sake of Tzitzis, number 19. Before starting to work, the person doing the spinning and twisting must declare that he is preparing the thread specifically for the use of the Mitzvah of Tzitzis. Okay, that's actually a requirement. So he said, I'm doing this for the purpose of Mitzvah of Tzitzis. Okay. And all right. Okay. So that's it. So do you want to read number 2? See if number 2.
Number 2 for me. 1 second.
68.
My version is a little different, so my 68 is different than yours. That's the problem. 1 second, I'll have it right here. Number 2. Okay. 1 second.
It's for you.
I think I got it.
Regarding 1, right?
Yeah, I got it. A person to whom only a linen garment is available. That part, right?
Linen garment.
Okay.
No, it's not. Okay, so let me do that. No, let's have one text. Okay,
Yeah.
one different. You have some different. So it says regarding one who has no alternative, but to have a linen tallis. So maybe you have different translations. So let's go by this translation for now. In which it is possible, it is forbidden to affix woolen tzitzis due to the shatnez prohibition. There is opinion that says that one should make the corners of the garment out of the leather and place upon them the woolen tzitzis, so that the linen and wool are not directly connected. However, there are dissenting opinions which hold that this should not be done. See Sharet Yeshua, end of Siman 9. Okay. So let's try to understand what it says here. So first of all, we have this prohibition, one of the 613 commandments, that we cannot mix linen and wool in the same garment. So if it's different garments, there is no problem. So if you want to have this, let's say, linen short, and on top you want to wear like a sweater, there is no problem. So because it's different garments, but in one garment it's prohibited. So one more time from the beginning is commentaries. Regarding one who has no alternative, but to have linen tallis, for whatever reason, that's always available. Commentary number 20. As explained above note 7, it is preferable to use woolen tallis garment. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch 9.6, who writes that some authorities forbid making tallis out of linen. Mishnah Brura, therefore, for the reason. So basically, I remember learning this. So some authorities say that they explicitly forbid to make a tallis to begin with. So not to put somebody in a situation that maybe he didn't know that it is linen, right? So he would put a tzitzis on this garment, which is a problem. Okay, so it's like fence around the fence, as we were speaking yesterday. Would be prohibited to make a garment out of the linen to begin with. So if you create a garment as a short or like other garments that don't have 4 corners, there is no problem. But specifically 4-corner garment is forbidden. Okay. So one more time, regarding one who has no alternative, but to have a linen tallis, in which it is not possible, It is forbidden to fix woolen tzitzis. Okay, we cannot do that. Due to the sharpness prohibition, so we just explained sharpness, but let's see what commentary say. Number 21. Tying the wool tzitzis onto the linen garment would violate the sharpness prohibition of the wearing garment that contain mixture of wool and linen. Okay, it's actually directly from the Torah. It's Dvarim 22:11. Okay. Continue. There is an opinion that says that he should make the corners of the garment out of the leather and place upon them woolen tzitzis. So they say in this case it would be permissible. So basically, if you look at the Tallis, that doesn't matter. It's a Tallis Katan or Tallis Gadol, meaning small one, or the one that you prayed, and these corners usually reinforced. Right, so this reinforcement could be from another material. It could be from, let's say, from cotton, right, or from some other material. But they say if you make it out of leather, so on top of the linen, so on the corners, you put like reinforced with the leather, let's say from the two sides, and then inside of this leather you would make a hole. So basically, these tzitzis, these woolen tzitzis, are going to touch only the leather part and not the linen part. So they would say in this case it would be allowed. So, right, and place the woolen tzitzis, meaning on these leather corners, so that the linen and wool are not directly connected. However, there are dissenting opinions which hold that this should not be done. Okay. Tzitz Sharet Teshuvah, end of Siman 9. Okay, let's see what it says there. Commentary number 22. Sharet Teshuvah, there cites opinion that one should not tie woolen tzitzis onto the linen garment. Should not tie onto the linen garment, even if that garment has leather corners. Okay, so let's see why. For the fear that this might lead one to mistakenly tie woolen tzitzis directly onto the linen garment that does not have the leather corners, thus violating the prohibition of sharpness. So basically, it's again this concept, this fence around the fence. So they say even like technically, it is allowed to. It would be allowed if he has this linen garment, and he would make these leather corners, right, and tie and make the hole in this leather and tie this woolen tzitzis. For sure that there is no for sure this wool and linen do not touch, right, because they're separated by leather. He says no, let's go a stricter way. Why? Because at one point people just forget, or they would not have enough leather. For example, they would do 10 Tallisim with the leather and number 11 without, because they ran out of the leather, and that's the problem. So that's why he said don't do it. Rabbi 9:6 intends that it is preferable to tie linen tzitzis onto a garment of linen. Okay. If it is the only garment available for use, rather than not fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzis at all. So Rama said, okay, so of course it's the best way to fulfill the mitzvah is woolen tzitzis, but you can also fulfill it with linen tzitzis. And Rama, which is Ashkenazi posek, so he said, okay, so if you the only thing you have this linen garment, do tzitzis out of linen. So because of course garment costs more money than the tzitzis. Okay. So go by the most expensive item, whatever you can afford, and do the tzitzis, not to neglect the kol mitzvah, because this rabbinical fence upon the fence restriction. Okay. The sieve number 3, and it says the sieve, the tzitzis must be tied onto the corners of the garment, as it says Beezrat 15:38. Siv 3 discusses the practical application of this requirement. The hole through which the Tzitzis are inserted should not be positioned at the distance from the edge of the garment, both in length and in width, more than 3 thumbs thumb breadth. Okay. So basically, what they're trying to say, what Kitzur is saying here. So there is a specific definition of the corner. So he said 2 thumb breadth. So the thumb breadth, the way I understand it is measured. So if you look at your thumb, and it's, I think, in a widest part of the thumb is a measurement, right? That's so it says 1 second. Okay, just a second. So let's read. So it says up to 3 thumbs, thumb breadth. So if it's more than that, it's not good. It's halachically it's not considered a corner. It's like removed from the corner. So, but up to 3 is good. So let's read it again, and there are a few commentaries. So the hole through which the tzitzis strings are inserted should not be positioned at the distance. Commentary distance. One should take care to ensure that the hole begins within the proper distance. So meaning don't make a hole and then measure and then like so that hole and then cut another hole. Like first you measure, you understand where the correct place is, and then you make a hole. That's what they say. Okay. So should not be positioned at the distance from the edge of the garment, both in length and width, more than 3 thumbs breadth. So meaning less. Okay, so we said less, but then they're going to say what is the other requirement from another side. So it says number 24 commentary. The thumb breadth is between 0.8 and 0.95 of inch. Okay. Thus, the 3. So basically, it's not the thumb of any specific person. So I mean, they call it thumb, but on one hand, but on the other hand, they give us the measurement, right? Thus, that the 3 thumb breadth should be between 2.2 and 2.8 inches. It says 6 to 7.2 centimeters. Okay, so in inches 2.3. So which is a lot. I mean, so when you have a big Tallis gadol, so of course it's less than that, but I don't know, maybe they do 1.5 the way, and say maybe a little more, maybe closer to 2, something like that. Okay. The thumb breadth measured in a straight line from the hole, right, down across the edge of the garment. So to the left or to the right, of course. Right? They are not measured with a diagonal line from the hole until the corner, which would result in a shorter distance from the sides. Okay. So of course, so we don't measure that diagonally. We measure to the left, to the right, to the sides of the garment. That's the measurement. Okay. So, and we said one more time, it's a maximum, right? Maximum is this 3 hand these thumb breadths. Okay. Continue. Some say that these thumb breadths are measured at the place of the thumb that is narrow, right? So not like we said. That is on the top of the thumb. And it's proper to take stringent approach in this. Meaning, commentary, the Mishnah Brura holds that it is a measure in the widest part of the top most joint. So basically, Mishnah Brura says that's what we follow. He says that so in a top joint, meaning where you have your nail, So, and exactly as we explained in the widest part. Okay, that's how you measure. Okay, sit sharei teshuva. Okay, so sharei teshuva commentary 26, sharei teshuva 11:7. Writes that Arizal would calculate the measurement with the narrow part of the thumb. Okay. So Arizal, so meaning it's Kabbalistic, it's narrow part of the thumb. Okay, no problem. So I think, and I'm not sure, but I think they would go by it's like some middle opinion, like where, but they may make this out because this, as I said, 2.8 inches, 3 inches, it's a lot. I never saw it Tallis like that. Even 2.3 is a lot. They make it much less, so it would be, as I understand, according to all the opinions. Okay, so continue. Plus number 26. The Tzitzis cannot be inserted higher than this distance, right? Because the higher than this thumb, the 3 thumb breadth away is not considered corner of the garment. So we said in a corner, and halachically, this piece higher than that is not corner. Rather, it is considered the main body of the garment, and the tzitzis must be placed on the corners of the garment. So that's the definition. Okay, in a corner, and technically more than 3 thumb breadths is not corner. Okay, if one made the hole higher than this, the 3 thumb widths away from the end of the garment, even if when the tzitzis is tied into the corner, he puts the knot tie. One second, something is missing. I'm sorry. So one more time. Let me start from the beginning. So I misread one word. If one made the hole higher than 3 thumb breadths, which is okay, that's what he did, away from the end of the garment, even when the tzitzis is tied onto the corner, so everything is tight, right? So he already tied. It's not like he just inserted. He pulls the knot tight and wrinkles up the area of the Tallis garment, so that the hole reaches within 3 thumb breadths of the end. That is when the measuring just space from the hole until the end of the wrinkled garment, as one would when he put a ruler next to it. Okay. The tzitzis are still valid. So let's understand. Let's try to explain this part, right? So basically, he made the hole a little higher, and now so the Kitzur proposed the solution. So now, if he tied this tzitzis a little tighter, so he's going to wrinkle the tallis itself. So it's going to be like semi-folded. But by this semi-folding tallis, the distance becomes less than 3 thumb breadths, which is no problem. So even though technically there is more space if you stretch it out, even out, but you cannot even out. Why? Because there is this tzitzis is tight. Makes sense or no? Understand?
I understand. Thank
you. So basically it's a solution. So for us, it's it's on one hand it does not apply to us because we go to the store, but just buy whatever with a perfect measurement and stuff like that. But on one hand, on the other hand, you never know in what situation you can be. So, for example, some time ago, somebody showed me how to tie the tzitzis, and they gave me the string and stuff like that. So it was very interesting. I tie my own tzitzis. Of course, I don't remember how to do it, but basically, it's not rocket science. Basically, you can redo it yourself if needed. Just buy the string and that's it. Okay, so continue. The measurement of the three, and basically it's just another thing. So basically, a person can make his own tallis. Right? So I mean, it's a four-corner garment. You make the hole for your head, right? And that's it. You just have to buy tzitzis, right? The string, and you can tie it yourself if you know how. You can watch the video and learn how to do that. So it's not that far-fetched, this explanation, right? So you can do it yourself. Continue. The measurement of 3 thumb breadths is of the length of the surface area of the garment itself. Okay. If after the tzitzit string were hung in a hole that was above the maximum amount of the distance from the end of the garment, that is above the 3 thumb breadths, one made a cut in the end of the garment in order that the tzitzis now hangs on the lowest part of the opening, okay, which is within the 3 thumb breadths of the end of the garment. It is still valid even though the tzitzis tassel is now within the 3 thumb breadths of the end, because of the rule of you shall make the tzitzis properly from the start. Invalid. So it's still invalid. Okay. And not repair that which was already made improperly, as explained below in CF6. So let's we're going to reread this piece, this commentary, but just before we do that, just let's understand the situation. The situation is that he does not want to tie it tighter, or it's it's not that he wants or does not. It's after the event. So now he tied it nicely, this tzitzis to the garment, and now he measured, and he sees that it's more than these 3 hand breadths. So meaning that it's not in a corner. So Kitzur said it's not going to work if he thinks that he's going to like make a cut and in a garment itself, and try to pull the tzitzis down, like basically make a second hole under the first hole, right? So it's not going to work. Why? Because there is a principle that you have to do all of the mitzvah right in the beginning, so you cannot fix it. So the proper way, the way I understand, would be to untie the tzitzis. Okay, the second hole positioned in the right place, but you have to untie the tzitzis and then tie it again, and basically fix the problem. But just to pull them down in the way they are, it's not going to fix the problem, because basically what happened, you tied it in one place, and now they're going to hang in another place, which is not correct. Okay, I hope I explained it clearly. Okay, if not, let me know, please. If after the tzitzit string were hung, number 27 commentary, there is the strings were hung onto the corner, one wrapping, even if it is not the strings were hung onto the corner, one wrapping, even if it is one of only 3 revolutions was made, right? So meaning that he did not finish tying completely, right? It's only one, right? One revolution, and it was tied with a double knot. So basically, like technically, after one double knot, that's it, right? That's halakhically that's enough. When we say tie, when somebody make a single knot, it's not tying, right? When somebody make the double knot, so it's actually tying. Okay. Okay, so that's what it says. 1 second. So basically, he did not finish. He just did the first double knot. Okay, so it says see details in CF5. Before this stage of the preparation of tzitzis has been reached, the tassels is not considered to be made. Okay, so tzitzis. So basically, one knot, single knot, just it's not made. So I mean that he does everything according to specification, but it's not to be tight. It's not considered to be tight halachically. Let's put it this way. Okay, so one more time this sentence. If after the tzitzis string were hung, so it's note 27, in a hole that was done, was above the maximum amount of the distance from the end of the garment, that is above the 3 thumb breadths, one made a cut in the area of the hole, right? Such as the opening now reaches within the 3 hand breadths. So he cut the way I understand, he would cut diagonally, let's say, right down, closer to the corner, so the tzitzis would like slide down within the 3. So now it is within the 3 thumb breadths from the end of the garment, which is correct. In order for the tzitzis now, in order that the tzitzis now hangs on the lowest part of the opening, which is he thinks that's the solution, which is within the 3 thumb breadths of the end of the garment, it is still invalid. So I mean, measurements are correct, but he did it in the wrong sequence. First, you have to make a hole in the right place, and then you tie in the right place, but not tie in the wrong place and then push it or move it to the right place. That's not going to work. So it is still invalid, even though the tzitzis is not within the 3 thumb breadths of the end. Because of the rule of you shall make the tzitzis properly from the start, and not repair that which was already made improperly. So that's the rule for tzitzis, at least. Okay, so many things you cannot fix, like in mitzvah. So, for example, tefillin, you have to write all of these psukim in the right sequence, and even not only in the right sequence, basically. Okay, and I think that even the words in tefillin we're going to learn, you have to write in the right sequence. So if you made a mistake, you have to scrape it with some kind of scraper, with and go back and rewrite everything, like from where you made mistake. The only issue if you have a name of HaShem in between, so now you cannot rewrite. So basically, it's if you have a name of HaShem in between the error, in between the error and then the place where you stop. So basically, it's unfixable. They have to bury it, which is a problem. I mean, the problem is that the person is going to lose his money and his time. But that's halacha. Okay, so continue. As explained, the Torah states in Dvarim 22:12, you shall make yourself twisted strings on 4 corners of your garment. The word ta'aseh, you shall make, is understood to mean that the tzitzis must be valid at the time they are made. Okay, so they must be valid at the time they are made. Okay, there is affixed to the garment. If the time that if at the time that the tzitzis were tied onto the garment, they were invalid, meaning they were tied in the wrong place, as we said, as in our case, where they were tied in the wrong place. Okay, and later the defect was taken away. Okay, meaning that he cut like this hole deeper, like closer to the corner. They remain invalid. The tzitzis must be untied and retied to the garment again in its proper manner. This rule and its application I explain at length in CF number 6. Okay, so I mean we're going to get to CF number 6, but basically, so what we can learn from this, the mitzvah must be performed in the proper order, and the only way to fix it, if he tied it too high, is untie it, make a proper hole in the proper place, and then tie it again. So that there are always solutions. It's not like end of the world. Continue. Also, the hole should not be too close to the edge of the garment, whether in the length or the width. Too close means less than the measure that is from the middle of the joint of the thumb until the tip of the thumbnail. So middle of the joint of the thumb until the tip of the thumbnail. Okay, commentary. See appendix for editorial process. So that's the minimum. So we got the maximum and that's the minimum. Okay. So it's like I don't know what is it? Maybe 1.5 width on of the thumbnail. That's all of the time width, plus minus. Okay. So it's not it cannot be too close, cannot be too far. Okay. The hole cannot be placed lower than this, because less than this distance to the edge of the garment is also not considered to be a corner of the garment. So too close is not the corner. So corner is as our sages describe, but beneath the corner. Interesting. Placing tzitzis into this hole would not fulfill the requirement of tying tzitzis onto the corners of their garment. So too high is not good, and too low is also not good. Okay, commentary number 30. This applies only when the first tying of the tzitzis into the corner. CCF4. Regarding the case when the tzitzis were affixed properly, and then the hole become enlarged. So which is that's exactly the reason why if we should buy the quality tzitzis and make sure that all of the corners are reinforced, right? So basically, they say if this and they have all of this like stitches like around the hole. So if they don't, okay, so if they don't, there is a problem. The problem is that this material can tear, right? And meaning what that the tzitzis are going to slide down, right? Which is also very possible, right? But they say in this case it's possible to fix. You just sew whatever whatever the tear, and there is no problem. Why? Because they were when we tied them, they were tied properly, and now some problem developed, but we can always fix the problem. Okay. Continue. By the way, we're going to speak about it in Sefer number 6. This measure takes into account only area of the garment itself when it is lying flat. Okay, so very interesting. Therefore, page 71 on top. If the hole was appropriately distant from the end of the garment, except that through the tightening of the knot of the string of the tzitzis, right, or of the tzitzis string, the edge of the Tallis garment become wrinkled, so that now there is a less than the minimum measure between the hole and the end of the garment. It is nevertheless valid, for the measurement applies only to the surface area of the garment itself. So the same way we went leniently when in a case where it was the hole was a little further from the corner, from the edges, and we say just tie a little tighter, so it's going to wrinkle the garment, and even though like if it would lay flat, it would be much not whatever. It's going to be further that maximum distance, right? That is allowed, the thumb width, right? But we said since this knot may make the Tallis wrinkle, so now like under like for if you measure from the corner until the what is it the hole, it's actually correct measurement. And same we say here, right? If it was like the distance from the hole to the corners was correct, 100%, no problem whatsoever. And now they tie the tzitzis, and now it wrinkles the garment, so it looks like it's now less than the minimum amount. So they said there is no problem, because we go by leniency in that opinion, and leniency in that case, and leniency in this case. So Baruch HaShem, so we have these things, and I think it's many times it is a problem when you wear the tzitzis like for a long time. So and then looking my tzitzis, so it's like the garment itself like bent in a corner, right? So it's for sure it's less. For sure it's less than minimum amount. But if you straighten it out, so it's going to be exactly like exactly good measurement. Okay. So that's good. Good to know. Okay, so let's finish this and we stop. So it says, regarding the thread that are sometimes left at the edge of the Tallis garment that not woven into Tallis, there is a doubt if they are to be taken into account in this measurement of the corner, both with regard to the minimum distance and from the end of the thumb joint, and with regard to the maximum distance, 3 thumb joint, 3 thumb braces. Sorry, three thumb braces. Okay, so we're talking about some kind of threads. I mean, at the end of the garment. So today, with our garments, we don't have problem because they, I think, like they bend it and they stitch it to the end, so they don't have this extra material like hanging there. So it's much easier today. Therefore, it is necessary to cut off these threads. So I mean, that's unfinished material. That's what it is. It's threads, right? Threads at the end of the garment before the tzitzis are tied into the garment. 31 commentary. It is important. So basically, it's don't leave this extra material hanging. This extra things sticking out. Extra threads, right? So don't put yourself in this doubtful situation. The commentaries say it is important that they be cut before the tzitzis are tied into the garment. So basically, like they bend into, like inside and just stitch it. That's the simple solution to the issue, right? It is important that they cut before the tzitzis are tied into the garment. So before we make a hole, so make sure that this tallis is 100% ready. For if when the tzitzis were tied into the hole was past the maximum distance, right? I mean, including this extra sticking out threads. So the hole was past the maximum distance from the end, including this thread. And then he cut them, putting the hole now within the appropriate distance. The tzitzis would remain invalid because of the rule which mandates that tzitzis must be valid in a time of time. So basically, what he's saying, so we have these threads, right? So they did not bend like inside and stitch. So these threads sticking out. And when he tied them, it was more than maximum requirement, maximum allowed distance from the corner. And now, like he cut them off, right? All of the sticking threads, and it's now after he cut them off, it's perfect measurement to the distance. But he says that it isn't valid because in the beginning it was not made properly. Okay, almost done. With regard to the Tallis katan, some have a custom to make 2 holes adjacent to each other in the form of the Hebrew vowel tzarei. Okay, tzarei. And they insert the tzitzis string into both of the holes so that they hang the outside of the tallis. So basically, when we go to buy tzitzis, right, to buy tallis, big tallis, or this or a small Tallis Katan. So they always ask you how many holes. So you need to know how many holes. For example, I wear 1 hole, but some people prefer 2 holes. It depends on the tradition. Our tradition is 1 hole. Okay, so we can stop here. We finish the seer. Any questions? Please let me know.
Yeah, one question about food blessings. So let's say you're eating a variety of foods. Do you have to do one blessing?
Can you give me one example?
Specific
example.
Let's say you're eating fruit, steak, and crackers. There should be 3 different blessings for each one if you eat them separately. But let's say you eat them all together. Is it one blessing?
No. Okay. So all right. So you have to make 3 blessings. First, you blessing on mizoines, meaning crackers.
Mm-hmm.
So because this mizoines food is always in a high importance, so it doesn't matter how much you eat these crackers. That doesn't matter. Even if you have you have a salad, for example, right? You have salad and you have these croutons, these bread things, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to make one blessing on this crouton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you make a blessing on the rest of the salad.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just elaborate a little. So if you have the salad, and for example, there is in this salad you have vegetables, tomatoes, you have lettuce, you have this and that, and you have can you have raisins? Let's say, I don't know, for whatever. No, raisins. Do they put raisins in the salad? Maybe. Let's say you put some, sometimes they put pieces of tangerine, right? Like so small tangerines, like so small pieces. So fancy schmancy salad. So you go by the majority. So if my majority is fruit of the land, so you say bareplicha dama. So you go by majority.
Mm-hmm.
So now going back to your case, to your original question. So you make first blessing. You make there is a clear priority. First you say on mizoines, meaning all the crackers, all the cakes, whatever you want to eat, and then you say on chadama, or on the fruit of the land, of the earth. So you say on your salad, whatever you eat, and then you say on a steak. You say shechakol. By whose word everything came into existence, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But
Right?
let's say for the meat one, right? Because everything came into existence. Can't that be a blessing for all foods?
Correct. Okay, you're right 100%.
Because that's what I used to do.
That's exactly why you start with mizoinus. That's why exactly you start with for example, if you don't have crackers, so you say you say on the vegetables. So and vegetables for sure do not include steak.
Uh-huh.
But if you already said by whose word everything came into being, in shechakol you said on a steak, so it is doubtful if you can say another blessing on a salad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You understand? So the rule of thumb is, so the more that we're trying to do always the more precise bracha. Precise meaning that it applies only to this variety of food, or like a little bigger circle. For example, the highest point is bracha on bread.
Uh-huh.
Right? When you say hamotzi, so it says the bread of the ground, right? So bread of the ground is only bread. That's it. You cannot say it on fish. So it's only bread, right? When you say on mizoines, on this grain foods, it could be like bread-like things, right? All of the plus all of the cakes, and plus all of the pasta, and plus all of the other things, right? So the circle is wider, right? You include many things. So if you say technically, right? If you say if you say the blessing on the fruit of the land, so it's actually included all of the grain foods as well. And bread also, it grows from the ground, right? I mean, it's not so technically, right? And another specific thing is fruit of the tree. When you say the blessing of the fruit of the tree, it covers only fruit of the tree, right? So if I cannot say on potato fruit of the tree, it's false. But if I say on my apple the fruit of the ground, it is true. So after the fact, this if you say on your apple this blessing for a full food of the ground, it's going to be true.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
So, but it is only a summary. Beezrat HaShem, my plan is Beezrat HaShem, start another class, and where we're going to speak only about these blessings. So the whole class, the whole shiur, going to be only about the blessings. And if somebody thought that they know about blessings, they would find out that they did not know 95% of the blessings. I guarantee it.
Okay, I got it.
You understand? So whatever I tell you is only a summary. If you have any specific questions, so I would gladly answer you.
Okay. That's all I have for now.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So let me stop recording 1 second.